Sonic the Hedgehog is one of my favorite video game series. I love everything about these Sonic games: the intense speed, rocking soundtrack, and iconic likable characters. Since 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog has been racing across our television screens at the speed of sound, creating a very different video game experience for people used to Mario or Zelda. The main draw of this game is its speed, which introduced new features like gravity physics, allowing Sonic to gain speed as he runs around. It was incredibly fun and paved the way for many more Sonic games to follow with tons of unique speed mechanics. All of them vary in quality, but one thing has always been constant: the storyline. Yep, believe it or not, there is a timeline for the story across all the different Sonic games. That's what I've set out to do, going over the full timeline of Sonic's character history and give my thoughts on them along the way. Before we start, we need to establish some ground rules. The first is I'm taking out games that are not canon to the main timeline. Sonic the Hedgehog 4, because it was a mobile game turned digital release that didn't fit anywhere in the timeline, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie game because it was a promotional piece, and Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, a game disowned by Sega because it used characters from the Archie comics that they don't own anymore. Second, I am throwing out any games that are connected to other media. We are talking about the game lore, so anything from cartoons, TV shows, and movies don't count. So Sonic Spinball, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine are out because they are related to the 90s cartoon. Sonic X on Leapster and every other Sonic Boom game also don't count. Third, I am throwing out games depicting the stories we've already seen. So Sonic the Hedgehog on Game Gear, as well as all the Sonic mobile games, are out. In addition, the DS and 3DS adaptations of Sonic Generations and Sonic Unleashed are out, as well as the re-release of Sonic Colors on Switch. Fourth, if a game has no story, I can't really talk about it. The Sonic Drift games, Sonic All-Star Racing, the Sonic Puzzle games, and the Mario Sonic Olympic games are all thrown out. Finally, for reading game manuals for the story, I will look at the original text in Japanese, not the American rewrites, because they get things wrong. For example, when Amy debuted in Sonic CD, they called her Sally, like Sally from the American cartoon. I will also be filling in the gaps with headcanon or try to reason something, given that some of these stories don't really translate that well together. That's not anyone's fault. When you have so many cooks in the kitchen, it could be hard to keep track of certain things. It's why now they have people who know the lore really well to make sure everything's consistent between the new games. I will give my opinions on a game throughout this, but only if I've played it. I've played about 3/4 of the games on this timeline, so I'm qualified to do this video, but I haven't played all of them, mostly because some of them haven't been re-released for new consoles. I can find out what the story is through cutscenes, game manuals, and playthroughs online, but I can't give my opinions on a game I haven't played. For fun, I will also be ranking the storylines with the ranking systems from my other videos. F tier is the worst, D is bad, C is okay, B is good, A is very good, and S is the best. Keep in mind, I'm talking about the rankings for the storylines, not the game itself. With all that said, I'm Rocko from Reamlore, and let's dive in. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to like and subscribe, because we upload videos just like this one on our Reamlore channel. We upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, so make sure you're subscribed with that bell pressed. Real quick before this video starts, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Our Red X video we just uploaded hit over 500 views, which is huge for our channel. So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for supporting that video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll definitely have more Teen Titans content coming out very soon. Again, if you enjoyed these videos, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Now back to the video. We start at the very beginning with the first Sonic the Hedgehog game from 1991 on the Sega Genesis. It's the first game in the series and the start of it all. The story for this is pretty simple. According to the game manual, the evil genius Dr. Eggman has finally found South Island, a moving island filled with ruins and these ancient gems called the Chaos Emeralds. They are hidden throughout the island, so Eggman sends out his robot forces to dig through the ruins to find them. He wanted the gems to power his weapons and vehicles so he can take over the world. To power his robots, he takes the animals called the Flickies and uses them to power his machines. One speedy blue hedgehog was against this, however: Sonic the Hedgehog. From there, he went on a mission to stop Eggman from destroying his home and rescue the animals. He goes through the 6 areas of South Island, finds the 6 Chaos Emeralds, and takes down Eggman everywhere he goes, eventually defeating Eggman. And that's pretty much it. And I'm giving the story a B. It's a good story depicting our favorite blue buddy rescuing animals, a very noble objective, and Eggman is very fun with all his machines. The game itself is pretty fun as well. Highly recommend. Our next adventure in the timeline is Sonic CD, the game made for the Sega CD add-on. I'm putting this here because in the official game Sonic Origins, this game happens directly after the first one. This is the story of a moving star called Little Planet, a magical place that can move around using the time stones, which can transform the world around with time. And of course, Dr. Eggman took note of them. He chained Little Planet to his base and proceeded to invade, destroying everything in his way, and searched for the Time Stones. Sonic takes note of this and races to Little Planet to stop him. Meanwhile, we get introduced to a new character, a pink female hedgehog called Amy. She is in the fields reading her tarot cards and sees that a white knight is in her future, which is when she sees Sonic and falls in love. She follows Sonic on a Little Planet but is captured by Eggman's deadliest machine, Metal Sonic. After his painful defeat last time, Eggman created Metal Sonic to match his adversary as a duplicate. Sonic runs through the stages, takes down Eggman's forces, and gets into a race with Metal Sonic. It's a close race, but in the end, Sonic comes out on top and rescues Amy. Metal Sonic was defeated, but Sonic wasn't done yet. He uses the Time Stones to go back in time and reverse the damage Eggman had done and defeats Eggman. So he was doing Avengers Endgame like 30 years before that movie came out. From there, Sonic and Amy get back to their home, and Sonic frees Little Planet from the chains, letting the planet go somewhere else. This story can get an A. This is a very good follow-up that ups everything. We have a love interest with Amy and a new rival in Metal Sonic, who would return to cause some more trouble in the future. Plus, the reversing of time is pretty cool. As for the game, I thought it was fun, although the level design was all over the place, which was confusing to navigate. Next up is Tails Adventures. Here we have the timeline introduction to Miles Tails Prower in a story before he met Sonic. Miles is a fox with two tails instead of one, so he got the nickname Tails. He is an inventor who is living peacefully on Cocoa Island when the evil dictator Great Battle Cuckoo and his army arrive looking for the Chaos Emeralds to power his robot army. They start destroying the forest, so Tails goes to stop them. He fights off the army and enters the battle fortress, finally defeating Cuckoo and causes his pirate ship to sink. I'm giving the story a C. It's okay, but it feels like it's just a rip-off of the Sonic plots we've seen. However, I am glad they gave Tails his own nemesis instead of relying on Eggman. Next up in the timeline is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on Sega Game Gear, their handheld system. Real quick, this gets a bit muddy, because Sonic and Tails meeting happens in the game manual of the Sega Genesis version of this game, but the Game Gear version happens before that game based on the fact that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles happens directly after Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So I'm just gonna go over that meaning, but stick to the storyline of this game. While napping on South Island, Sonic saw a puff of smoke and a glow in the distance. It was the fabled West Side Island, which held the 7th Chaos Emerald. Sonic used his red plane, the Tornado, to get there. While running on the ground for a few days, he passed by two foxes picking on Tails for having two tails. Sonic blew right past them, knocking the bullies over, and Tails started following Sonic from there. Tails thought Sonic was the coolest, so he followed Sonic all the way to his plane, which Tails loved, and they became friends. Back to the Game Gear manual, one day Tails disappeared and Sonic got a letter from his friend. Tails says he's been captured by Eggman and has been locked in this place called the Crystal Egg. The only way to get to this place is for Sonic to get the 6 Chaos Emeralds on South Island, guarded by Eggman's deadliest robots. I should mention this going forward, typically after Sonic uses the emeralds, they shoot off in different directions, so he has to keep finding them, you know, like the Dragon Balls. Totally not a ripoff. Sonic went back to South Island, defeated the robots, got the 6 Chaos Emeralds, and went into the Crystal Egg. From there, he met Eggman's second try at creating a duplicate of Sonic, Silver Sonic. This proved to be a downgrade, however, as Sonic defeats both Silver and Eggman before rescuing Tails. I'm giving this story a C. It's nothing noteworthy, but it doesn't hurt anything. The game itself is pretty fun too. For only being an 8-bit Sonic game, I had a good time. Next in the timeline is Sonic Chaos, because this happened after Sonic 2 on the Game Gear. On South Island, Eggman has collected the 6 Chaos Emeralds, causing South Island to start sinking. Now it's up to Sonic and Tails to save South Island by working together. Sonic and Tails make it to the Electric Egg, retrieve the Chaos Emeralds, and defeat Eggman. And that's it! Probably the shortest story so far. I'm giving this story a D. Like, it's fine, but it's the same story over and over again. Eggman trying to get shiny rocks and Sonic trying to stop him. It's getting a little old. As for the game, I thought it was really good. Out of the 3 8-bit Sonic the Hedgehog games so far, this is by far the best. It was challenging but not punishing, and it let you keep playing despite running out of lives. Also, fun fact, this was the first game where you could play as Tails, and with his flight, it made getting to higher places much easier. We now finally get to Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the Genesis version. This is where we formally get the Tails backstory. While chilling on West Side Island, Sonic and Tails hear an explosion. They go to see Eggman is here looking for the 7th Chaos Emerald, along with the other emeralds that were scattered throughout this island. Eggman wants to find them all so he can power his greatest creation, the Death Egg, which is not a ripoff of the Death Star. Totally different. Sonic and Tails work together to defeat Eggman. They go throughout the island destroying robots, freeing the Flickies, and collecting the Chaos Emeralds. When Sonic gets all 7, however, something amazing happens. He turns golden and becomes Super Sonic. Totally not a ripoff of the Super Saiyan form in Dragon Ball Z. In this new form, he can't be hurt, moves much faster, and can fly. Although the downside is he can only hold it for a short amount of time. The ending of the game sees Sonic and Tails flying up to Eggman's wing fortress using the tornado, which Tails gets to fly. Sonic makes it up, but the tornado is shot down. From there, Sonic makes it to the Death Egg, where he has to fight Silver Sonic again. Sonic beats him easily before moving on to fight Eggman in his greatest mech yet, the Death Egg robot. Sonic is able to defeat him and take the Death Egg out of the sky. Now here's the only problem I have with the story, because in the bad ending, Sonic falls to the ground, but Tails rescues him with the repaired tornado, giving Tails a nice moment to shine. In the canon ending, however, Super Sonic saves himself because he can fly, which is not as cool. The story for this can get an A. This is the most in-depth story we've seen from Sonic games so far, showing off Tails more, proper Silver Sonic, and a new form for Sonic. And all of that ending on the Death Egg, the best ending set piece we've seen for the game so far. As for the gameplay, it's very fun. It introduced the spin dash, which is the best, and Tails letting you fly up to places you couldn't normally go is nice. Okay, a little backstory for the next game in the timeline. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic & Knuckles were originally going to be one game. However, Sega broke up the game because they had a McDonald's toy deal and wanted Sonic 3 out to promote it. But to save you some time, I'm just gonna go through the story of both games. Continuing directly from the last game, the Death Egg crashes onto a floating island. It causes devastation on the island and sends it plummeting towards the ground, creating massive waves as it did. Eggman survived the crash and just so happened to see a new giant Chaos Emerald. This is the Master Emerald, the gem that can control the power of the Chaos Emeralds. It can basically take all the power away or give them even more power. It is being guarded by Knuckles the Echidna, who has been guarding the gem for a long time. Eggman then lays out his new plan. He tells Knuckles that Sonic and Tails are evil, while he tried to protect the Flickies. They gathered the Chaos Emeralds and used it to destroy everything. Knuckles buys this and they form an alliance to take down Sonic and Tails. Eggman's real plan is to roboticize the animals and take the Master Emerald so he can get his Death Egg back in the sky. Tails meanwhile gets a reading of a Chaos Emerald on the island and talks with Sonic. He reveals there were stories about an ancient island that had a phenomenal civilization using the Master Emerald as power. It was inhabited by the mighty Echidna warriors, but they were wiped out when some of the elders wanted to abuse the Master Emerald's power, leading to their destruction, which we'll come back to later in the timeline. Sonic and Tails fly to the island, but Sonic is ambushed by Knuckles, who takes the Chaos Emeralds. From there, you know the deal. Sonic and Tails race through the zones, get the Chaos Emeralds back, destroy robots, etc. The first half comes to an end when Sonic and Tails stop the Death Egg from launching back into orbit and put it on top of a volcano. After falling back to Angel Island, Sonic and Tails get back to fighting with Eggman before reaching a teleporter. It takes them to a room depicting Super Sonic fighting a giant monster. Going to have to be more specific there. There, Sonic and Knuckles fight, with Sonic besting the Echidna, but while that was going on, Eggman steals the Master Emerald. From there, he launches the Death Egg successfully, showing his true colors. Before all of that though, I do have to mention that earlier when Knuckles had the Chaos Emeralds, he used the Master Emerald to turn them into Super Emeralds. When Sonic uses them, it turns him into Hyper Sonic, a form even more powerful than Super, but don't get used to it. This is Hyper Sonic's one and only use. Knuckles, deciding to help, leads Sonic and Tails to a place called Sky Sanctuary, where they have to fight what Eggman left behind to stall them, Mecha Sonic, the third attempt at creating a robot Sonic. Sonic and Tails defeat Mecha before using the high tower in the Sky Sanctuary to get to the Death Egg. From there, it's Hyper Sonic fighting Eggman in his improved Death Egg robot, which is much stronger. Sonic defeats the robot, making the prophecy on the wall from earlier a reality as Sonic reclaims the Master Emerald, and Tails saves him with a plane. And it's canon this time. Sonic and Tails wrap things up by returning the Master Emerald to Knuckles, allowing Angel Island to float into the sky once again. We're not quite done yet though, as there is a bonus Knuckles story where you play as the Echidna, who can glide and climb up walls. His story is about the remaining Eggman forces on Angel Island, mainly how the Egg Robos have taken over Eggman's mechs. Knuckles takes them all out before reaching the only robot left, a still-alive Mecha Sonic who has been running the show in Eggman's absence, even stealing the Master Emerald. Mecha also uses the power of the Master Emerald to power up in his pseudo-super form, but Knuckles still defeats him. The story of the game finally ends with Sonic flying in to help Knuckles return the Master Emerald to Angel Island. Honestly, I'm giving the story an S. It's a narrative leagues above everything that has come before. A new rival, a new Metal Sonic, a growing sense of danger, it's all really cool. We even get narrative hints in the background of what's going to happen. It's a great story and a great game with excellent stages and extra characters to play as. After Sonic 3 and Knuckles, we get Sonic Triple Trouble made for the Game Gear. This wasn't a straight adaptation of Sonic 3, but rather an independent sequel made for Sonic Chaos, and since it features Knuckles, it has to happen after that game. The story goes while Eggman was testing out some gadgets with the Chaos Emeralds, it blew up, scattering them around the world. Sonic and Tails go searching and find Knuckles, who is angry with them for stealing the Chaos Emeralds again, when in reality Knuckles was being tricked by Fang the Sniper, a treasure hunter who stole the emeralds. Now this is bad for the story perspective. We just had this whole adventure about Sonic and Knuckles coming to an understanding, but Knuckles just gets tricked into thinking Sonic's evil again. Whatever. After Sonic beats Knuckles, Eggman swoops in and captures him so Sonic and Tails go to rescue him. At Eggman's Atomic Destroyer base, the pair fight Eggman and a newly repaired Metal Sonic. I guess Eggman realized nothing beats the classic. Sonic and Tails defeat the evil duo before rescuing Knuckles and escaping. The ending changes depending on your progress with the emeralds, by the way. If you don't collect them all, Fang escapes with the ones you didn't get. But when you do collect them all, Fang gets nothing and you escape. The story here is getting a D. There are cool concepts in this game with all these villains for our heroes to fight, but they're only good in concept. Eggman and Metal returning are fine, and Fang has a decent introduction, but Knuckles looks really dumb. I know he's not the brightest, but he's not that stupid. Although if you wanted to play Triple Trouble, there is a great option. In 2022, a game developer named Noah Copeland created the Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit. Basically a remake of the game in the Genesis style. I haven't played it, but it looks amazing. Like a real sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. He even patches holes in the story by having the Knuckles we fight actually be Metal Sonic in disguise, which is a power he would use in Sonic Heroes. Next up in the timeline is Sonic Labyrinth, the game with the weirdest story so far. See, Eggman was tired of Sonic beating him over and over, and thinks that if he can take away Sonic's speed, he can destroy him. So he sends a robot to replace Sonic's shoes with slow shoes that stops him from running fast. Yes, seriously. Eggman, if you have a robot that managed to sneak into Sonic's home, why not just blow him up or something? The only way for Sonic to get the boots off is to collect the Chaos Emeralds, which are stuck in this maze. Sonic destroys every robot in his way, gets the emeralds, and takes the shoes off. The end. This story is getting an F. This is the most bizarre story I have ever seen in any video game. They needed an excuse as to why Sonic couldn't run fast in this Labyrinth game, and slow shoes was the lazy way to get there. Why would you even want to do this? Sonic's speed is what makes him stand out against the other platformers like Mario. I understand they wanted to get Sonic in the third dimension, but there were better ways to do that. While Sonic was busy doing that, Tails was having his own adventure in Tails Sky Patrol. Tails goes exploring when he finds an isolated island cursed by the evil witch card. Tails then spends this adventure defeating the witch and her minions before freeing the island of Tyranny. The story's getting a C. It's okay, but there is so little there's not much to talk about. We formally move into sort of 3D with Sonic 3D Blast. The story here sees Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles visiting Flicky Island to search for the Chaos Emeralds, which landed here. Man, these things go everywhere. They are of course fighting Eggman again, who is capturing the Flickies and putting them in robots, all to find the Chaos Emeralds. Our heroes work together, free the animals, get the Chaos Emeralds, and defeat Eggman again. No joke, there is literally no more story here. Meaning I'm throwing out another F. We are back to the story of the first game, and it's not passable anymore. The games have advanced their storytelling potential so much since the first game, and this is several steps backwards. Give this story something extra to make it memorable, like a new villain or a new mode for Sonic. But we don't get any of that. We then get the Game Gear tie-in sort of with Sonic Blast. The story here is that Eggman got the Chaos Emeralds away from Sonic and plans on collecting them to power his new fortress, the Silver Castle. Knuckles then arrives and teams up with Sonic to take down Eggman. From there, you know the drill, Sonic and Tails get the Chaos Emeralds and take down Eggman. I'm giving the story an F. Same thing with 3D Blast. We have moved past the very simple storytelling. There is a new standard. Even the handhelds like Chaos and Triple Trouble had more going on. And this game is not good. It's perfectly playable, it's just way too easy. I got through half the game in like 10 minutes before putting it down because I was bored. The 8-bit Sonic games on Game Gear were way better than this one. I should mention there was supposed to be another Sonic game on the Sega Saturn called Sonic Extreme, which would have been the first proper 3D Sonic game. But production issues led to the game being cancelled. This meant there was no big Sonic game for the Sega Saturn, which contributed to that console's poor sales. Sonic and Sonic 2 were the most purchased games with the Genesis, just for context. That meant for a while Sonic didn't have a proper game and Classic Sonic ended on a whimper. We get to the last game featuring Classic Sonic, Sonic R. It's a racing game with a story, believe it or not. While traveling, Sonic and Tails see a commercial talking about recruitment for the World Grand Prix. Tails says they should join to see which one of them is faster, and Sonic agrees, but only after seeing Eggman has signed up as well. This was all part of Eggman's latest scheme. He realized the Chaos Emeralds are on the tracks for this race. While Sonic and Tails find them, he'll swoop in and steal them with the help of his robots, Metal Sonic, an Egg Robo, a new Metal Sonic, Sonic, and a Tails doll thing, which is just another robot in a costume. We also get Knuckles and Amy signing up for the race as well. Knuckles wanting one more chance to prove he's faster than Sonic, and Amy wanting to get closer to Sonic. And that's it! Yeah, I'm not kidding, there's no follow-up to the premise. It's a racing game, so you just race around. For the purposes of headcanon, I'm just gonna say Eggman failed and Sonic used the Chaos Emeralds to go super and defeat him again. I'm giving the story a B. This is leagues above the Blast games because they come up with a new narrative making things more interesting. The thing that really drags it down though is that there is no ending, we just have to make it up. This is where we're going to stop for the day. We will be continuing the series with the next batch of Sonic games coming up with the new generation of Sonic. Spoilers, I'm gonna be talking about the Sonic Adventure games. Now some of you have probably noticed I left out a few games from the classic timeline, like Knuckles Chaotix for example. And to spoil for you, those games do show up later in this timeline. Stay tuned to find out. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later.